Quick midweek update from yesterday's slate breakdown. We're tightening the core, reacting to fresh info, and explaining exactly why we're pivoting where we are. Quarterback. We're moving off yesterday's Josh Allen core to Caleb Williams at 5,600 with a dash rank of 100 against Green Bay, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. The salary is the key here. He's projected for 19 with 19 fantasy points per game, and recent games of 27, 18, and 26. So we're getting similar ceiling per dollar at a big discount and about 0% ownership. The narrative noise after the Bears' 20-17 overtime loss to the Rams hasn't hurt his fantasy output. In fact, multiple pieces this week highlighted Caleb Williams' magic in the divisional round discourse, and even the backlash pieces basically underscore how polarizing he is, which can suppress ownership. We'll leverage that while paying down to unlock the studs elsewhere. Running back. We're pivoting from Christian McCaffrey to Kyren Williams at 6,400 with a dash rank of 100 versus Carolina, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. He's projected for 16 with 16 fantasy points per game, and recent games of 16, 11, and 4, coming in around 0% owned. The reason for the change is macro. There's a widely cited article noting the Rams are running the ball better than any team of the last 20 years. And we want to buy that efficiency at a discount in a matchup that doesn't scare us. Paying 6,400 for primary touches behind that machine fits our cap better with Caleb and RWR anchor. Wide receiver, we're flipping our top spot from yesterday's Green Bay receivers to Puka Nacua at 8,700 with a dash rank of 100 against Carolina, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. Projection is 27 with 25 fantasy points per game, and recent games of 38, 26, and 6, and ownership is still around 0%. Why the switch? Concentration and ceiling. Puka's role is elite, and the recent coverage continues to validate it. From the simple metric pieces labeling him one of the best receivers ever to the reminder of how dominant he was in that Panthers wildcard showing. With our Kyren correlation, we're betting Rams volume funnels to their two best players, letting GameScript decide who crests the slate. Tight end, we're moving off Dallas Goedert to Dalton Schultz at 4,000 with a dash rank of 100 versus Pittsburgh, who have one of the worst defenses overall. He's projected for 11 with 10 fantasy points per game, and recent outputs of 4, 11, and 5, and he'll be about 0% owned. We made this change because the matchup is cleaner for a mid-tier TE, and the news cycle backs the usage. Schultz has been one of CJ Stroud's go-to guys, and pieces this week even revisited how Houston was right to invest in him. The lower salary stabilizes builds with Puka while keeping a live TD path against a weak opponent. Flex, we're shifting from Romeo Doubs to Jalen Coker at 4,500 with a dash rank of 100 against the Rams, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. Projection sits at 7 with 8 fantasy points per game, and he's posted 31, 17, and 4 in his last 3 at around 0% ownership. This is a volatility play driven by recent spike usage and price. We're acknowledging the Rams bring pressure, but at 4,500 we're buying the route share trend and the big play profile as a tournament lever that lets us keep Kyren plus Puka without punting elsewhere. Defense, we're replacing yesterday's Texans or Chargers rotation with the Eagles D at 2,900, dash rank 53. Recent fantasy totals are 4, 11, and 5, and we're paying for a balance of price and recent form with ownership near 0%. The mid-range cost fits our new core better while maintaining turnover and sack paths we can live with. Now, value notes and updates. Ronnie Rivers at 4,000 is a pure late swap contingency tied to our Rams stance. If you need extreme salary relief or want to leverage a blowout script from that run game article, he's a thin but correlated punt. We're not listing his zeros. This is a correlation-only sprinkle for MME. Jaden Reed at 4,000 versus Chicago, who have one of the worst defenses overall. Projects for 10 with recent games of 16, 0, and 8 at about 0% ownership. Yesterday we were heavier on Packers receivers. Today we're prioritizing Puka, but Reed remains our salary pivot exposure to the same favorable opponent context if you want to bring back Caleb stacks or diversify. Tucker Kraft stays a do-not-play. Multiple reports this week confirm a torn ACL and the in-game cart-off. So even if a site lists him as available or shows a big recent game, we're not taking that risk at any price. Cade Stover remains our punt tight end, or flex pivot at 2,500 versus Pittsburgh, who have one of the worst defenses overall. He's projected for 4, with recent games of 4 and 2, around 0% owned. If you fade Schultz and want to jam more salary elsewhere, Stover provides the root bet at the stone minimum. If you absolutely need to drop to a bare min defense, the Panthers' D at 2,000 has recent totals of 7, 7 and 5, but the dash rank is only 3. Use only when the extra 900 truly changes your build. Why the overarching changes from yesterday? Price-driven optimization and matchup clarity. Caleb's salary unlock with comparable ceiling run has better ROI than paying up at QB. Kieran is a direct bet on the Rams' historically efficient rushing profile. Per the widely cited article, Puka consolidates our ceiling exposure to that same offense, and Schultz gives us a cleaner TE matchup in a week where ownership is flat. The Packers' pass-catcher tree is still interesting with the Tucker Kraft injury news continuing to consolidate targets, which is why we keep Jaden Reed in the value pool, but for our core, we lean Rams plus Caleb. Core today: Caleb Williams, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Dalton Schultz, Eagles D value pivots, Jalen Coker in flex, Jaden Reed for salary relief, Cade Stover as the minimum TE or flex, and Ronnie Rivers only for correlated leverage or late swap. Tucker Kraft remains a firm avoid.